Hello there, it was Matt. Welcome to this avenue of mine, this opportunity to ease my mind into a sense of comfort. That's the hopeful perspective, that is the hopeful result. I am by my lonesome self, yet it feels like, in so many ways, I'm not. I am of the belief, or I have been so many times, it's just kind of seeped through into my my the preemptive facts I have in my mind, that there are souls from our lives that have watched me. And so what I mean by that is, well, maybe we all exist in each other, and maybe that would give us the ability to like kind of visit each other as a soul element, as like a soul conduct. And you know, this process of mine, this very spiritual process, has been very revealing. uh Me personally, I've been anywhere from extremely comfortable with the seance to very uncomfortable and very aggravated and angered and irate with the seance. The one thing's for sure, even when I am at my absolute worst, even when I am the most blasphemous and the most hurt, I am still not going through, let's say, physical violence. I'm still going through something very manageable. I'll always find it quite surprising that people do not hold on to their lives more than they do, because I think life is inherently something that is worth considering more than some people seem to think. One interesting thing about me is that suicide is something I'd always considered to be, even in my younger days, even when I proclaimed once that I would do it to my dad, I would commit suicide because I was so stressed. Never really struck me as honest, that statement, even in the moment. A surprising amount of maturity shone through me that day for just how I felt about what I had said. Because it just didn't make any sense for me to actually want to do it, to kill myself. And, you know, maybe there was such a meaning in life all along simply because it is not equivocally comfortable, but it is a game of opportunities, it is a game of chances. It is a life where if you're somewhere where you even have a computer, you are inherently, or even a phone. Computer's kind of crapped out right now. I'm using my phone solely. It still works for the most part. Just need maybe to replace the motherboard, maybe not. We'll see. But you know, if you have any technological gadget on your side, you're already doing better than so many fucking people. They're just living in straight up poverty. And that is a fact. And to put yourself out there, it is to prove your talents. Just to prove what you're capable of. Even if it may seem pointless just because, some people haven't watched and you're not getting many views and it seems like it's so pointless. What I've really learned more than anything is that putting something out there publicly, putting it somewhere, it will breed this sort of seismic shift where even if you think that not a lot of people have viewed, just one person is all it takes to create the catapult, to create the ball rolling down the hill. Yeah, it takes that traction. I think it's important to prove yourself in life because I think that regardless of whether you're getting viewed or not, the game of karma that we play is it's probably the most important game there is. Your bad actions and your positive, pure actions, they will categorize yourselves in the sky. I could swear they will. Like, we're all being judged on a metric. That's what I personally think. Is that we're all being seen, we're all being witnessed. And, maybe life is worth cherishing for the reason that just the fact that we allocate ourselves to take trivial matters so seriously, just the fact that the entire right side, conservative side with politics talking point, the talking points of the right side, in politics, revolve around just the fact that LGBTQ is used so significantly in a derogatory way. Just the fact that there is such a concern with identity. They call it identity politics. Maybe let's just worry about more important things. Maybe let's worry about what actually matters. I could swear that if the governments banded together and created a cohesive system, even though there is the United Nations, which is an example of that, but not an exemplary one, according to a lot of people, that is for sure. If they banded together and created something actually tangibly beneficial, then maybe we would worry about losing our, our bank account going down to zero, or losing our means of financial, losing our financial means. Maybe we wouldn't worry about that so much. The focus is in the wrong areas. It is clear. I mean, you look at how much they're spending on war. You look at the fact that there would be a war that would begin, and the leader who decided, hey, let's create a war over one attack. Is the leader who decided that's such a great idea did not get reprimanded. He got praise. And next thing you know, they're out here spending their billions upon trillions on a war effort which kills civilians. They're spending money to kill people that could have brought money to the world, that could have brought opportunities, that could have brought ideas, that could have brought results. They're wasting those people away to fight a meaningless battle, because at the end of the day, it's either Russia invades or Russia doesn't invade. That's literally what it is. And yes, it's the end goal. What happens when Russia invades? There's more taxes upon the Ukrainian lands. and potentially continue. And it's a stupid, silly game that is also accommodated because, well, when one side gets into it, then the other side needs to defend themselves. They need to do it. And it's an agreeable statement, and it's seen as a heroic jurisdiction. But really, I think us not working as a cohesive unit is really our biggest downfall in so many ways. I've just named the tragedy of life, and still, even with the tragedy of life being considered, I still think my earlier statements ring completely true. Because, well, me personally, I'm not in an area of war. I'm not in an area. I do not relate to the struggle, right? I can understand the struggle. I can piece together what it means for there to be a struggle. But I do not relate because I am not there. What I can tell you is that there's always a point in moving forward. I think the soldiers, they're playing this like sort of sacrificial game, They're playing this sort of game where they're wholly expecting to die. Especially the Russians. The Russians are especially expecting to die. And what I can say about that is that perhaps they're too courageous to the point that it just is insensitive to their families. Perhaps they have no need to get involved. And they do it out of pride, out of a need to protect their diplomacy. But what are you really fighting for in that instance? If I was a Russian, I would stay as far away from it as possible. I really would. Simply because at the end of the day, you are sacrificing yourself for a bureaucracy to hopefully invade another country. You are sacrificing your own life so that your leader and his cohorts can get paid more. They will be very heroic with you until you're in the battlefield. They will still be heroic there. They will give you those grandiose, beautiful speeches about how you're the reason that we are thriving. You're the reason that we're potentially going to save our world. You're this, you're that. They strike me as salesman speeches. They're true, but in a way they are. But they strike me as salesman speeches because it's almost like the valor is what sells the job. The valor is what sells the job. And I think it's really, in a sense, it is a bit too admirable. I do not quite understand it. I wish that we were in a world where the people unanimously were more happy, they were treated more kindly, that there wouldn't be a need to resort to violence between each other. And another thing I want to bring up is maybe in my pacifistic shelter, maybe I have forgotten. I've forgotten. Maybe I've completely forgotten what it means for actual pain and struggles pull through. I think. Let's put it this way, okay? There are people that have committed suicide over nasty conversations online. They were not hurt physically. They were not even threatened sometimes. They just went online, okay? They went on a social media discourse forum. They complained about how they weren't accepted enough, or that their ideology was being bashed or so on and so forth, then they just commit suicide. To me, that's one end of this multifaceted scale. Okay. Other end, soldier sacrifices himself in war. Um, they're really the antithesis of each other, because one is a courageous leap forward in order to defend the pride of your world, but really your country. The other one is to mitigate your lack of hope. And the thing is I know that it seems like I am oversimplifying the issue, but really there's kind of a silliness in it if you're really going as far as completely ending your life, but over, like mostly trivial matters. I mean, I can tell you, me personally, when I was growing up, I was someone who would get involved emotionally in conversations a hell of a lot. Not really that way nearly as much anymore, but there would be forums that I would frequent where I would freak out, right? But let's just say that not only would I not have considered going nearly as far as that, but that maybe there's such a hopeful feeling and a positive feeling in my mind, a massive positive feeling in my mind over not having done that, because there's always the possibility to improve. There's always the chance that things can become better. There's always the epiphany that you can experience. There's always the maturity and the evolution that you can potentially go through. So don't give up on yourself over some silly trivial shit. If you're going to do it, then enlist. Enlist in the army. No, I'm kidding. Don't feel forced to do that regardless, really. It's kind of a fucked up system. But really it would make some sense. Anyways, I think I just think there's such a meaning to life because our consciousness needs to be preserved. We need to understand that our consciousness is important. Like, individual consciousnesses are extremely important because they can always bridge us to a better future, even if they don't. Very minute things that can make individualize better. Let's not give up on ourselves unless there is really regardless, but if it's going to happen, then have it be for a useful, important reason, not just discomfort. Anyways, just wanted to say all that, and I know it's kind of a blunt take, but maybe I've been like that often. I don't know, but I kind of feel like I'm a blunt guy, and it just makes sense to me to be this way. My eyes are open. In many ways, they are beyond open. Thank you. Take care and be well.